KENTSHAM bell. Great Tom of KENTSHAM was the greatest bell ever brought to England, but it never reached KENTSHAM safely, nor hung in any English tower. Where KENTSHAM is I cannot tell you, but long, long ago, the good folk of the place decided they wanted a larger and finer bell in their steeple than any other parish could boast. At that time, there was a famous bell foundry abroad, where all the greatest bells were cast, and many others who wanted bells bigger than those cast in England sent their orders there as well. And so it came to pass that Great Tom of Lincoln, Great Tom of York, Great Tom of Christchurch, and Great Tom of KENTSHAM were all cast at the same time. They were all loaded onto the same ship and carried safely across the seas to England. When the ship reached England, the process of unloading the bells began. It was a careful and delicate task, but one by one, Tom of Lincoln, Tom of York, and Tom of Christchurch were safely brought ashore. Then came the turn of Tom of KENTSHAM, the largest and most magnificent of them all. Slowly and cautiously, the crew began raising him, preparing to lower him on a solid ground. But as they worked, the captain became so anxious and overwhelmed with the tension of the moment that he let out a loud curse. At that very instant, the ropes holding the bell snapped, and Great Tom of KENTSHAM slid off the side of the ship and plunged into the sea, disappearing into the depths. The people of KENTSHAM were devastated. They sought out a wise man, hoping he would have a solution. The man advised them, "You must gather 6 strong white bulls, none of which have ever been yoked before. Use fresh withy bands that have never been used, and let no one speak a single word, good or bad, until the bell is safely at the top of the hill." Determined to recover their precious bell, the villagers did as they were told. They found 6 pairs of sturdy white bulls that had never borne the yoke, harnessed them with fresh withy bands, and led them to the shoreline where the bell lay in shallow water. It took a great deal of effort, but the bulls pulled with all their might, and the withy bands held firm. Inch by inch, they managed to drag the bell onto dry land. The journey to the hill was slow and arduous. The great bell moaned and groaned with unearthly sounds as it was dragged along. The villagers followed in solemn silence, each one holding their breath and obeying the wise man's instructions not to utter a word. Finally, after a painstaking climb, they were nearing the top of the hill. The bell was almost safe. The captain of the ship had been racked with guilt since the moment he saw the bell slip into the sea. Watching it now, being pulled to safety filled him with relief and joy. Overcome with emotion, he couldn't contain himself and shouted gleefully, "Well, that's it. We've beaten the odds and got KENTSHAM bell back." No sooner had the words left his mouth than the withy band snapped. The great bell, as if possessed, began rolling back down the hill. It gathered speed as it went, clanging loudly and eerily, until it reached the water once more. With a final, resounding splash, it sank into the sea, disappearing far beneath the waves. From that day forward, no one ever saw a Great Tom of KENTSHAM again. Yet, on still nights when the wind is calm, sailors and villagers claim they can hear its deep, mournful tolling from beneath the waves. Some say it's the bell's lament, a reminder of the captain's fateful words and the price of a broken silence. For years afterward, the legend of the bell grew. Children whispered about it in hushed tones, and fishermen swore they could hear its haunting chime guiding them back to shore. Pilgrims traveled to the site, hoping to catch a glimpse of the legendary artifact or hear its mysterious tolls for themselves. The place where the bell was lost became sacred ground, a reminder of both human ambition and the power of silence. Some say the bell rests there still, waiting for the day it will be retrieved by those who can heed the lesson of the tale. Others believe it has become part of the sea, its tolling now a melody of waves and tides. Regardless, the story of Great Tom of KENTSHAM endures, a timeless warning against the perils of impatience and the strength of unspoken resolve.